Hello, and thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Jamie. Today, I want to talk about this intuitive journey that I'm on, following my intuition for everything, which I realized started back in about 2018. Now, I've always been one to kind of follow nudges, but I realize in my life now that there were a lot of times that my spirit was nudging me in certain directions or to do or not do certain things, and there was a lot of years where I wasn't listening. So I ended up going sometimes the long way, the long route, and learned a lot. So it's none of it's like by chance, or none of it's without benefit. But I look back now, and I of course have the hindsight, which is always so much clearer in retrospect, that there were times when I was being asked to do something and I ignored it. So I've been cultivating, like, following my intuition more over the last, I would say, geez, at least probably about 8 years. Especially because I started sort of unraveling my thoughts and realizing my thoughts were creating my reality. How I was talking to myself was creating my reality. I started switching those things and doing simple shifts like starting meditation and quieting my mind, and that really allowed me to start feeling into my intuition even more. And in 2018, I completely leapt out of my registered nursing job in the hospital. I traveled to Australia the first time, I traveled to Hawaii for the first time, and I started my own like natural healing business at that time. And I feel like that was when I really took life into my own hands. I started to be like, my health is the most important thing. I learned that through illness that I had years ago, and it made me realize like how critical it is that we have good health in order to be able to do the things that we want to do. And when my nursing career was threatening my health again, I leapt out without really any hesitation, in the sense that I wasn't willing to risk losing my health for a job. And maybe that's you right now, and you're looking for signs to quit the job that you feel is making you sick. Well, here's your sign. But it's not just about quitting jobs and doing drastic changes. It doesn't have to be that big. And in fact, now with how I'm living, having followed some bigger nudges, I'm noticing the subtleties that my spirit uses to get through to me about even just like day-to-day things. So in all of this, I read a thing today that talked about how traveling, like taking a big trip, will often do more for people to change their lives than therapy. And I get it. And I think part of it is that we leave our comfort zone, we go, we do the new things, and we just feel so alive. And what did we come here for? We came here to experience everything that this world has to offer us. We came here to feel alive, to get to be in these bodies and do the things that these bodies allow us to do here in this physical reality. And so when you realize that, and you realize that it's not just about, living this slave life and doing the work and paying the bills and then dying, and you realize that it's more about having experiences that grow us and having new experiences that just allow us to enjoy life more. When you go on a trip, you're not just apt to go back to your typical day-to-day life. You don't really want to go back to some 9 to 5 that you're not enjoying anyway, back to a way of life that feels very incongruent with who you've grown to be. And so that's part of it, but I think the other part is just that it does something to shift how we're viewing the world, how we're viewing ourselves. And that's definitely what I've experienced. And it's been a big learning journey being here for as long as I have, and trusting everything that comes my way and knowing what's my intuition, what's not. And a lot of that comes with like feeling this spark of joy, this spark of excitement that will oftentimes be very subtle. Like I'll have an idea, or I'll be talking to somebody, and I'll just feel this excitement about what we're talking about. And I know I'm meant to go to that place and do the thing that we're talking about. So yeah, it's come with a lot of like fears and doubts along the way. But the more important thing is that we just keep following it. And I've been shown through small things that have come up why I was guided to go to a certain place or to do a certain thing in any given moment. I had an experience where I got back to my hostel and I felt to just go to the pool, and doing that, I had no idea why I was doing it. And then someone who was upstairs started getting very angry and was yelling and started pushing someone around. And then I was like, oh, that's why I was directed to not go upstairs right now. So sometimes we get shown right away, sometimes we don't get shown right away. But the growth that comes from taking these kinds of leaps where we just trust that everything is going to line up, if we just take that first action step towards our excitement, like things just start clicking into place. And then you start having all of the confirmations and the signs from people and your environment and the things you're reading and the things that just come up into your reality. So yeah, as I move through this last chapter here in Australia and get ready to go have a new beginning, it's just really staying true to myself and staying true to my own intuition, my own true feeling, my own knowing that I'm on the right path. And in fact, yesterday on the bus up to where I'm at right now, there was a woman that got on and started talking to another passenger about the place that I'm going next. And I had a friend sending me signs that she was getting on her end. She's been a messenger for me in my life during times of big transition, big changes, and new beginnings. And she was like also sending me things that she was getting on her end that were really kind of like showing the alignment in what I'm doing and where I'm going next, which I'll be sharing soon. But yeah, I think take the leap. Take the leap when you feel to take the leap. Don't hold back and have the regrets later that come when you have that clear hindsight, because the hindsight is so clear sometimes that we just will have regrets. And now it's raining, and I gotta say, I'm gonna end this, but I'm really proud of myself because I'm sitting here at the end of this sort of fishing jetty on these rocks, and a woman came up and stood there for a long time, and I just kept going. I haven't been doing that. I've been allowing myself until today to let that distract me and change what I'm doing and to stop the video. But today, I didn't do that. So small wins are everything. It's the small things that matter in life. It's the small steps of action. It's the small changes that end up adding up to big changes and new beginnings. And yeah, this feels incredible.